Happy Friday, everybody. It is time for piano. I'm so glad you could join me today. It has been like too long since we've had piano, and I started to miss you guys. So I'm really happy that it's starting today. Couple things that we need to go over before we get started here. If you want to like this video and share this video with your network, that would help me so much. Also, comment. If you're watching live, I take a look at the comments while lesson is going on. So if you have a question or anything to say, go ahead and drop some emojis or something to let me know you're here, okay? The second thing is of course, subscribe on YouTube, right? So just search Izzy Chia and you will find me on YouTube, okay? So the YouTube is perfect because it's really helpful if you miss something in lesson live and you need to rewatch it, okay? So this video will end up on YouTube so you can find what you need later, okay? So go ahead and subscribe. The next thing is join the private Facebook group, right? So all of my students already know that if you post your video of yourself playing your song for the week in the private group, I will watch it and I will give you feedback, right? So if you've got questions about something specific or something tricky, just drop it in the group and I will help you, okay? It is called Encore Music Makers, okay? You can find it, the link in the description of this video or on the groups tab of the main page, okay? And last but definitely not least, I've got Patreon, yeah. So Patreon is awesome because that is the easiest and quickest way for a recurring donation to help me provide these lessons for you, right? It has been such a great platform for me as a creative person because it makes it easy for you to help me, and it makes it easy for me to communicate with my patrons about special things going on, right? So like today, we have a special drawing for two people to get a free private lesson, right? And that was only available to my patrons. We're gonna do the drawing after we learn our song for today. So stay tuned, all right? All right. Yay! Oh my goodness! All right, so we've got Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Aubrey. I see you on there. Hey, from London. Hi. And then, oh yeah, so we have got a lot of people watching today. Very good. I'm very excited to get started. Okay, so first things first, we have to talk a little bit about what we learned over the summer, right? Because we learned a lot. Do you know how much you learned over the summer? You guys really learned a lot. So the first thing I want to talk about is, remember that forte dash piano, right? I have it here, right? Forte dash piano. Yeah, it means like when you've got a repeat in your music, the first time you're going to play it forte, and the second time you're going to play it piano, right? So you learned that over the summer, which was pretty awesome. Another thing that you learned, oh, hi from Puerto Rico. Hi, friends. Hey, Ziva. Yeah. All right, so we've got here our whole rest. Do you remember the whole rest? Yeah, so the whole rest gets 4 beats of silence, right? But then you also learn the other one. Kind of looks like a hat, right? This is the half rest. And that one gets 2 beats of silence, right? You remember that? Yeah, very good. Oh, Caroline is watching. And Linnea? Okay, Linnea's in school, but she's going to watch later. Very good. Very nice. You guys also, do you remember the interval that we learned of the fifth? Right? Do you remember the interval of a fifth? It's line note to line note, and it's going from your finger 1 to a finger 5, or your finger 5 to a finger 1. Do you remember that too? Yeah. What about the 2 kinds of intervals? Do you remember the melodic interval and the harmonic interval? Yeah, you guys, you've just like learned a ton. Very good. Oh, and didn't we learn a new position? We learned G position, didn't we? Do you remember how to find it? Yeah, okay, let's go over that real quick. I'm going to switch to piano view so we can do that. Look how pretty. I put some rainbow stuff. I put some poofs. I have like all kinds of cutesy stuff here. But let's review how to find G position, right? So if you can find your middle C, right, you count up 1, 2, 3, 4, right, to that pinky spot, your finger 5. That's your G. You're going to put your right hand finger 1 thumb on that G instead, right? Now for the left hand, it's a little bit trickier, right? You have to get into C position to start with your pinky on C. But take a look at that finger 4 of your left hand on D. That is where your left hand finger 1 thumb is going to go, and you fan out those fingers, right? And you found your G position, my friends. Very good. Woohoo! Very nice. Okay, let's switch back. Did you know you learned all this crazy cool stuff? Yeah. Oh, what about my friend, the incomplete measure? Do you remember that? That was interesting, wasn't it? Because the incomplete measure was the case of the missing beat, right? So a song that began with an incomplete measure was missing a beat somewhere, wasn't it? So we had to be able to find it. And where do you find the missing beat for that incomplete measure? Do you remember? At the end of the song, right? It's like you have to do some musical math, right? You're kind of like a musical detective, right? Oh, you know I like these props. Very good. Oh, what about dynamics? Do you remember the crescendo? Do you remember the crescendo? It's like you start quietly, right? And then little by little by little by little, you're increasing the volume, right? So this one's called the crescendo. Now let's flip it over. What? Now we've got a diminuendo. Did you remember that one? That one's like kind of a little bit harder to say, right? Diminuendo. But it means the opposite. You're going to start loud, right? And then you're going to get softer and softer and softer and softer and softer, right? So it's the opposite of a crescendo, all right? Super cool. Y'all are doing awesome. Okay, and the last things that we sort of learned this summer were really interesting. We learned about the sharp sign. You remember that? I have to remind you, it's a sharp sign. It's not a hashtag. In music anyway, right? So what it does is if you see the sharp sign before your note, that means that you're going to play the next note to the right, whether black or white, right? Do you remember how to find your sharp? Let's review. Let's see. I'm going to switch to piano view. All right. So I'm going to just play my middle C, right? So I know where that is. That's right here. And remember, first note to the right, which is this way, whether black or white. So the first note to the right is this black note right here. That's my C sharp, right? Let's do another test. What about an F sharp? Can you find an F sharp? So F is my finger 4, and I'm going to sharp it, right? One note to the right, we say sharp it, and then it goes up here. Very good. All right, that's pretty nice. Let's switch back this way. And the last thing we learned at our very last lesson was the flat sign, right? So the flat sign I thought was actually kind of funny because it looks like a melting letter B, right? He's like, I'm melting. It's actually a good tip, right? It's a really good hint in your music. So if you see a melting flat, you think of it dragging it down, by one note to the left, right? Does that make sense? A little bit? Let's see if we can find a couple flats to make it easier, okay? I'll switch to piano view. Flats, I love flats. Those are cool. Alrighty, so flats. I'm gonna put my my left hand now. Let's say we put it in our G position, okay? Down here in G position, I have my left hand finger, one thumb on D, and then I fanned out my fingers, right? Now, let's see if we can find a B flat. Yes? All right, so B flat. So our B is going to be that finger 3, right? But we're going to move one note this way to the left. So we're going to go down to this black key right here. That's my finger 3, B flat. All right, see, it's sort of melted its way down, right? Let's see if we can find another flat, okay? Let's make it a really tricky one. How about an A flat? Yes, an A flat would be that finger 4 on A. And then we're going to flat it, right? So that's going to be this one right here. One note to the left. There it is. Very good. Very nice. All right. Ooh, I'm seeing a lot of sharp signs on the screen. I think that's Miss Hannah. She's showing us exactly what those sharp signs look like, doesn't? Yes, wonderful. Hey, y'all are doing great. All right, so that was a review. We learned all of that in the summertime, and that's pretty awesome. Now, if none of that makes sense to you, don't worry. All of my summer lessons are on YouTube, so you can go check them out and give yourself a nice review, okay? All right. Now, the song that we had gotten right before we went on our break was a really tough one, all right? It was cool. It was called, wasn't it called The Clown? Do you remember The Clown? Go ahead and take out your lesson book, Silver Books. You're going to turn to page 39. 39, okay? This is what it looks like. Ooh-wee, look at that crazy clown, huh? Y'all are just, I'm impressed. You guys are doing great. The Clown. Now, let's talk a little bit about it, okay? We have this song in a G position, okay? Remember, we just went over how to find that G position, okay? This song has 2 flats, okay? We just went over those 2 flats, too. I did that on purpose, right? We did A flat and we did B flat, okay? Now, I had only given you the first 2 lines to learn at last lesson for good reason, because they were tricky, huh? They were definitely hard, so I wanted to make sure I didn't overload you over the last lesson, okay? So, quick review, we've got 4/4 time, so 4 beats a measure. It's moderately fast. And we even have that accent sign. Remember that little snippy snappy scissors? Yeah, the accent signs means you're going to play it very pointed, right? All right. Let's see if we can play through the first 2 lines of The Clown. I'm going to do it nice and slowly, and you'll be in piano view so you can watch, okay? Excellent job. Okay, so let's find our G position, all right? Okay, I've got my right hand thumb on G above middle C. And then I've got my left hand thumb on that D way below middle C. And I'm fanned out my fingers, okay? Now, if you're ready to try and play along, go ahead and do so, okay? Remember, I'm not going to go very fast. You ready? It starts with your left hand finger 1 on D. I'm going to count off. 1, 2, ready, play. D down to B flat, C down to A, B flat to a G, then A. Hold, right hand. G, A, B flat, C, D really weird chord. There we go. 1 and 2 together. D down to B flat, C down to A, B flat down to G, then A, hold. Now we have a fifth in our left hand and a G. A with a B flat, A and G, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that was tricky, wasn't it? How did you do? Did you manage to get through it? If not, that's okay, right? That's what we have our practice with me for, right? Yeah, so if it's really tough, you join me on Monday again, and we will practice together, right? Lesson is where you get the song assigned, and we go through it a couple times. But practice with me on Monday is where we really get into the nitty-gritty and we learn the song, okay? Now, don't worry about that. How about, we kind of like need to stretch out our fingers a little bit and our arms. Let's do spaghetti and meatballs. You ready? Spaghetti and meatball. Spaghetti and meatballs. Woo! Ooh, I got crazy meatball today. Yeah, it's always fun to like loosen up a little bit because when something's really hard, we have to prepare ourselves to work a little bit harder on it, okay? Now, let's see if we can play through the first 2 lines of the clown again. But this time I'm going to be saying my finger numbers instead of my note names, okay? See if that helps you, all right? Let's do it together. All right. Piano view, here we go. All right, let me find that G position again. I lost my spot. Okay, let's see. There's my middle C, and there's my G. I'll put my thumb right there, my right hand thumb. And then there's my C position for my left hand. I'm going to put my thumb where that D is, that finger 4. All right, now, let's try this again. Come on, clown. We're going to get through this song together. All right? Finger numbers. Let's count off. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, hold, right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Left hand. 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4. Hold. Now 1 and 5 together with a 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that was hard. It's still hard. You know what? And that's normal, okay? The middle of this book, it starts to get to where the songs are not as easy. And that's on purpose, right? Because if you've learned we're on page 39. If you've learned 39 pages of piano over the last 6 months with me, that's incredible, right? So the songs have to get a little bit harder at some point, right? So it's just going to take you using your really good practice habits, build yourself a cupcake or an ice cream cone or a pizza or something fun, and work out those really tricky spots together with me, right? I know you can do it though. All right, but that's only half the song. We got to learn the second half, okay? So we're going to do that right now. You ready? Okay, so take a pencil if you've got it. I love pencils because I make a ton of marks in my music. And if I make the wrong mark, I can still erase it, right? So if you use a pen, you can't erase it. And then it's like a mark on your music and you don't want to do that. Okay. All right, so everybody look at the third line of your song, okay? We're on page 39 of the song is called The Clown, okay? Line 3, I want you to notice something. The first note in the right hand is a B. It's a finger 3. But wait a second. Weren't we playing B flats before? Where's the flat sign? Do you see it? I don't see it. You know what that means then? It's just a regular B. It's not going to be flat. So that's when you take your pencil and you circle it. And it reminds you that it's just a regular plain B, not flat. So it's going to be the white key B, okay? And then I see it goes B, up a note to C, and then D, and then it skips back down to B. So I'm going to circle that B also, all right? Because those are not flat, all right? So let me show you what that measure looks like. Right there. You see my two circles? Yes. All right, so copy those circles if you need to, okay? They're regular B's. All right? Now, counting over, let's see, 1, 2, 3. The third measure of the third line, it has another B in it. It's not a B flat. It's a regular B again. So we got to circle that one too. All right, so let me show you what that measure looks like. If you need to watch this later, you absolutely can. You see it right there? There you go. There's your B. It's circled. Regular B. Very nice. So that's the third line for the right hand that we need to remember things, okay? Now look at the left hand now. Okay, the left hand begins line 3 with a fifth. We know all about fifths. We learned that already. So it's just a 5 and a 1. The next measure is a second. So we've got 1 and 2. And then it opens to a third, opens to a fourth. So that's not too tricky. All right. You know where it gets really hard? The last line. Don't worry, I'm going to help you through it, okay? Now, remember I talked about flats, right? So if a note has a flat in front of it, it's going to be played one note to the left, whether black or white. Look at the first note of the fourth line. It's B flat again, okay? So circle that one because that one will be flat, okay? Will be B flat. I thought that was funny. Okay, now, here's another tip. Look at the last note of that measure, that first measure of line 4. The last note, let me show you right there. You see that one right there where my pencil's pointing? I drew in a flat sign. You know why? It's because it's in the same measure as a B flat already. And the rule, if you can remember, the rule says we need to flat every note that is already in the measure with another flat. Okay, so if we have a B flat in there already, that means that all the B's in that measure will be flat. So that's why I drew it in. So if you want to draw a little flat sign, you can, okay? All right. And then continuing on, we have another B flat in that third measure of the last line, okay? It looks like we also have a B flat in the third measure of the last line in the left hand as well, all right? Yes, this is a lot. I'm telling you guys a lot, but that's why we need to work together, and if you need to join me on Monday for practicing, we can, all right? Learning piano isn't just playing it. We have to analyze it. We have to learn how to read those notes, and we have to mark it with our pencil so that we know what is going on when we come to it in the music, okay? Let me show you that last, that measure right there. You see this one? There's that left hand B flat in the third, all right? Very good. All right. Now, let's do some playing now, okay? I want to do some playing of those last two lines, all right? Let's switch to piano view, and I want you to see if you can follow along in your music. I'm going to start on the third line of the clown, and I'm going to play the third and fourth line only, okay? Follow along in your music if you need to. If you want to play along with one hand, you're absolutely available to do that, okay? So let's begin. We have a fifth in our left hand and a finger 3 on a regular plain B. You ready? I'm going to count off. 1, 2, ready, play. E, C, D, down to B, then A with the second, up to D, hold, now down to G with the third. A, B, G, up to A with the fourth, 2, 3, 4. Now last line, back to B flats. Flat, C, D, skip to B flat, down to A with the second, up to D, down to G with the B flat third, A, B flat, G, up to A with the fourth, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, shake out those fingers. You did great. Yes, it is tricky. You are, yeah, it's tricky. It's not going to be something super easy that we get on the first try, right? It's going to take practice, all right? If you have trouble on these songs, aim for your encore 4, okay? 4 days of really good solid practice, and you will make progress, okay? If you can't get to 4, definitely try. That's, I feel like, the magic number, right? If you can get more than that, that's even better. But 4 is a good solid number, okay? Now, at the end of the clown, there's a really weird notation. It's written in orange at the end. It says, DC al fine. Do you remember me talking about this? DC al fine stands for da capo al fine, okay? Now, da capo is the Italian way of saying the cap or the top, okay? So, you know, the conductor of the band, he says from the top, right? That's what he's talking about, da capo. So what you do at the end of this line, because it doesn't really have a true double bar at the end, you go all the way back to the beginning and you play until you see the orange word fine, right? It kind of looks like fine, right? But this is fine because we're learning Italian, right? Italiano. So that's what we're doing, right? So after you play those last parts of the song, you go back to the beginning and you play the first 2 lines again. And that's the real ending, okay? So that's how the song map goes, right? The road map. We got to know where we're going, right? Our destination is the fine, or the double bar, okay? Wonderful work, my goodness gracious. So we are going to practice the clown this week again, okay? First half, we're going to really try and get hands together. Second half, see if you can get hands apart, maybe hands together if you can give yourself the time to do that, okay? Wow, what an amazing lesson we've had today, okay? Close your lesson book, you're done for that. And then theory, there's no theory this week, okay? Because I had already assigned you the flat signs page. If you don't know what page that is, let me give it to you real quick. Page 29, okay? So you can play some catch up this week. Page 29, you're going to work on flats in your theory book, all right? Now, I need like a drum roll or something. We got to do our drawing for the free lessons. What do you say? Are you excited? Give me a drum roll. All right, I got my top hat, you guys. Are you ready? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I have every patron's name written on a piece of paper in here, okay? And I'm going to draw 2. So let's see how it goes. Put some emojis. Give me some reactions. Here we go. All right, name number 1. Let's open it and let's show it to the camera so everybody knows. All right, Silpa Comenetti. I think this is Shranika's mom. All right, Shranika, you got a free piano lesson. All right, honey. Very good. All right, so we got one more name to draw. Here we go. Let's see who's in here. Oh, this looks like a good one. Yes. All right, let's see. Totally clear. Let's see who's on there. Sarah Kenya! Sebastian's mom. All right. Hey, you guys, we're going to have so much fun. So those are my 2 lessons. My 2 free private piano lessons are going to be Shanika and Sebastian, all right? I'm so excited, you guys. Now, if you want to join in on all these like cool giveaways and things, remember, join Patreon, right? So we have a lot of fun on there. We do extra things. Choose a tier that you can support me monthly between $5 and $50 a month. And you get to be put into this drawing, right? I think I'm going to do this more often. It's just so much fun, right? So congratulations. I'll send you guys emails so that you know that you guys won the lessons, all right? Awesome. Now, last but definitely not least, I know Hannah knows what's coming up. We have the music quote, right? Now, if this is your first tune in to what I do, I end every single lesson with an inspirational music quote because I think it just helps us feel grounded and feel us understand that music is something beautiful and transformative, okay? So let's talk about the music quote that we've got for today. Ooh, I like it. It's a good one. Okay, so today's music quote comes from the Spanish cellist and composer Pablo Casals, and this is what he says. Music is the divine way to tell beautiful, poetic things to the heart. That is very, very true, isn't it? Music is in itself its own form of poetry, right? It just hits you on a very emotional and deep level, and you're able to communicate things in a way that more people can understand, right? Even if they don't even speak your language, right? Like maybe you encounter somebody playing some beautiful music on the street, and it's just so moving, right? And he might speak, I don't know, Russian or something, or Chinese, but you speak English, or maybe you speak Spanish, and you're just like, wow, I feel what this person is playing. I really do. And you don't even speak the same language. But I guess you kind of do, because you speak the language of music, right? Thanks again for joining me today for piano. I'm so happy. I'm so glad you could come today. Make sure to share this video with all of your friends. Subscribe on YouTube. I'm so excited to bring this every single week to you guys. Let's have a great, great series, okay? Have a lovely, lovely day, and I'll see you soon, okay? Bye.